And his opponent spawning up at the top left for the Platinum Heroes. It is Botvinnik in the blue. Let's see what these two players can do here. Remember that they are competing for their life here in this tournament. Loser does get knocked out. I am actually not sure what round you get knocked out in, or like what position you would get knocked out in if you lose here. But I believe... Well, let me see if I can figure that out, actually. Give me one moment. By the way, it's a double gas opener from Trigger, so it's going to be a one base opener at the very least.
Take a page out of... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So, loser gets knocked out in 33rd to 40th, and winner advances to the top 32 of the tournament. So that's... They're playing for at minimum an extra 250 USD and an extra 30 EPT points. Oh. So we got a proxy... I'm going to say proxy Stargate.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But one base proxy Stargate against Terran is, I mean, okay, there was a long period of time where we saw proxy Void Ray, and it was great, and then it got nerfed into the ground. Thank goodness, because that build was not great. But we don't have that anymore. Is there a world? Yeah, okay, it's Stargate.
Yeah, it's just gonna be proxy Oracle. Yeah. There is a world where Trigger has done some very, very crazy proxy robo builds. Which are some bizarre shenanigans, which he does love, but that's not what we're going to be seeing. And he'll do proxy robo into expand as well, which is the crazy part.
Yeah, I mean, the Trigger takes a little bit of max packs, a pinch of SOS, and a pinch of just having really good shield batteries. So it's funny when I first started casting Trigger back at like any apprentice beginning of last year, and he stomped his group, and you're like, okay, well, this kid's got something. Before he made his way to DreamHack. He just did that. He had some really crisp timings. SC30 at 60 at his group, and that's kind of how I knew him as. And then he started to develop this strong macro play and get really good at just positioning and everything else. But, I mean, the kid really is a prodigy. He beat Parting within like 2 years of picking up the game. He kind of, and even then, picking up the game was involved with playing arcade games with random people because that's what he was into. And even after that, it took him a while to actually decide to start playing 1v1.
Yeah, and he's taken to it like something to water. He's a natural at it. But we got to talk about this a little bit. There's two Widowmines here. Oh, he might turn away from one. No, he goes straight into it. Oh, well, that is extraordinarily bad. Okay, I think this is the right call. He starts up a Forge. He needs detection. He sees the Armory, so that's actually very good. And he will be able to potentially get in here, but there's a second Widowmine that's been built. I really hope that he is paying attention still, because this is looking pretty scary right now.
That is actually so smart there from Botvinnik to go and not put all three Widowmines in the medevac, but instead only run two across. So the Oracle is going to assume that there's... Oh no. We can tell that these players, it's almost midnight in the venue. They're kind of tired, and they want these games to be over as quick as you please, because this is not the builds that we would normally see from Trigger, maybe from Botvinnik, but this is not what we would normally see for the most part.
No, certainly not. And we got Botvinnik. He is really chasing these probes around. He's getting a lot of lost mining time coming against Trigger right here. Does this manage to burrow in time? Oh god, the target fire. Okay, only gets one probe. That could have been so bad. Drop it a natural though. Oh, Trigger, nice last second split. Good job. He's managed this very, very well so far. He's actually going to get the kill on the medevac. The cannon from downtown, Steph Curry. And now there's... Wait, what? Oh, this is a one base all in.
Of course it is. It's almost midnight. It's a Botvinnik very heavily not favored. Triggers are very heavily favored here. Of course it's a one base all in from Botvinnik, and it's... Bunny did well.
He sees it.
Yeah, oh man, big scout there too, but Bunny is in this tournament, so Botvinnik taking a page out of his book. And oh, wait, no, the Adepts here is actually so key. 3 Adepts, one-shot SCVs, so if you can kill any of those SCVs before the push finds its way on the other side, that is actually such a massive deal. You cut down on the HP pool and the repairability that Botvinnik has. That is so important, but I feel like now, Trigger, you got to recall these Adepts. You can't have them. They're not... Putting them into your opponent's mineral line does not mean anything, because Botvinnik is not mining, really. He doesn't have much in his mineral line to kill.
Yeah, no, I think it would have been much better to shade them home. Instead, he is going to have to use a recall eventually, or he just doesn't have them there, and that's a huge amount of lost potential. He is actually just going to walk them home, so he will be able to still have the Chrono Boost while being able to Battery Overcharge, and there it is. Battery Overcharge does get popped. Immortal's going to try and come in and chomp through this Thor. The Mass Repair is not enough, and I think Trigger is held here. The Liberator is going to show up, but Trigger, he's just going to disengage for the moment, let his shield batteries heal up a little bit, and I think he can actually just DPS down this Thor, but he's taking it very slowly. There's only 4 SCVs left to repair.
Yeah, you know, we run into the situation now where Botvinnik's income is so bad with all the SCVs getting pulled that he cannot afford to take the losses that he is to make the repairs happen. Not anymore. But as the tank arrives steadfast, you almost wonder whether Trigger is taking it. I don't think so. I think this is the proper play, but as the tank sees,
it feels like he had an opportunity.
Sorry?
It feels like he had an opportunity to clear this earlier. Oh, but he jumps in as the tank unsieges and resieges. He takes that out and he buys himself a ton more time. And there's 4 cannons, 3 of them in a really nice position at the front here. Another tank will show up. Yeah, this is looking so good for Trigger. He just needs to not panic.
Oh, yeah, actually, look at this. He's got a couple stalkers. They found the way out, so they're going to look for reinforcements. That's nice, but maybe for a flank later on is a Botvinnik. Now, he does have tank in range of these cannons, so eventually that will go down. And while Immortals are great against armored units, steadfast, they're only so good, right? They only have so much range, but he's going to move in right as the Liberator unsieges. But Botvinnik continues to push on forward. Shield Battery Overcharge popped once again. And now the Immortals, they're just going to run to the other side of it. Tank is down. Oh, Thor is running. It's hiding. It's doing what it can. But yeah, the Liberator is rather uncontested. But Liberators have to unsiege and resiege, unsiege and resiege, and unsiege and resiege, and all those wonderful things. Meanwhile, these Immortals, they just kind of keep running as Thor the high ground. Oh, two Immortals go down. Nice micro from Botvinnik. But
does it even matter is the question, is the unfortunate question.
Well,
if he gets this Immortal, that would be pretty. Oh, there we go. There's the Thor down, and that's it. Yep, GG is going to get called. Trigger will take game number 1 after a very nice defense, very solid defense. It was a little bit wobbly at certain times, but he got the job done.
There we go. But we're going to have to see what type of really quick gamer we're going to get in game 2. Like, I hate to be like that, but again, it is almost midnight. Trigger was talking about how he might as well just sleep in the venue because of it is. But I guess all the consternation was a result of the fact that I think all the fans, everyone had to leave the venue and trying to figure that stuff out. But we're gonna get into game number 2 just now. Steadfast, Tropical Sacrifice. What type of all-in does Botvinnik go for in game 2?
That's a good question. I wonder if it's going to be Botvinnik going for the all-in, or if it's going to be Trigger, or if it's going to be both. There is a possibility. Yeah. I think maybe we actually do see a proxy robo out of Trigger here. I'm here for it if we do.
That sounds like a fun time. Oh, good. I got you. We're going to get in game number 2 just now. In the upper right now, in the ready's up 1, canceling a pylon, replacing it because it was blocking a gas. He is Trigger.
And his opponent placing his depot in the correct position like a good boy. It is Platinum Heroes Botvinnik.
So Steadfast, some people have been asking whether this is a offline or an online event. And of course, we are remote, but the players are online. The exception, though, might be for Botvinnik, because he does have the word bot in his name. So I have not seen him. I mean, we don't have it feed into player cameras, but I'm assuming he actually is just an advanced AI playing StarCraft off a USB stick.
Which would, of course, make it an online event, because he'd be the internet,
No, not at all.
Wait, maybe he's the one that caused the outage.
Oh.
Maybe it was his circuits.
He
I was
understood.
talking about the walking EMP.
Yeah, he understood that robots don't get tired, but people do. So the longer he's able to push this, the better it is going to be for him. Right? Robots
yes. Beep boop. We are seeing, by the way, another 2-gas proxy here out of Trigger, and this time Botvinnik is going to scout. Remember that was a disastrous start for Trigger. He lost both of his oracles to start the game off, but he managed that Widowmine drop follow-up extremely well and read the build. Basically, once Botvinnik allowed the scout on the Thor with the 3 Adepts, Trigger was able to prepare himself extremely well for the attack. So good job by Trigger.
Well, this time it's even worse for Trigger. He goes for Practice Stargate. Once again, makes sense, but it's going to get scouted. And there is, I don't think there's a probe. Well, no, I guess there's a probe sitting away that can drop a second pylon, but you don't want to get scouted. Makes life a little sad.
Yeah, and I think he will lose this pylon before that Stargate could come online. A very nice scout from Botvinnik here, getting the job done. And we're going to see Trigger. Oh, I like the way he loops in here. Going to allow him to drag the Reaper away for a little bit longer, which will mean it loses DPS on this one pylon. And that means if there was any chance of it being interrupted, the production of this Oracle, it's now 0.
That's always going to be rather nice. Widowmines, of course, are...
Oh, he actually decides that he can keep it alive with that Adept, and he's right.
Well played there.
Now he's going to get supply block, though. He needed that pylon, actually. Oh, he gets the Reaper. Nice.
Trigger, unfortunately, went and he outthought himself. He outthunk himself.
He actually did, yeah.
All right, so I heard a Widowmine burrow. Where is that hiding?
It is in the mineral line on the 3rd from the left mineral patch. Trigger, he's going to be a lot more careful with this Oracle in game number 2 than he was in game number 1. I think I can say that with absolute certainty.
Well, we're going to have to see. He looking to dive in.
Please. Please be more careful.
All right, but now let's see. What happens here? Trigger, again, he's denying mining at the natural, and that's somewhat annoying. But there we go. So second Oracle does join the fray here. Is now Trigger looking to dive in with 2, and it's where 3 it's when you get to 3 Oracles, and that is where you one-shot SCVs, and it's kind of obnoxious. Oracles don't feel quite as strong against Terran as they do for the other races for precisely that reason. But I like that bait with the Marines. 4 Marines are something you can tango with, but of course, Widowmine is right there. But Trigger, he committed to 2 Oracles, finds literally 0 damage right now, but also doesn't take any damage. So there's that, and he also, I think he got a pretty good scout on the main base. So at least he kind of knows what his opponent's doing, and I love that stasis.
Ooh, that is a really nice stasis right there. I also love, Trigger. He is going to lose the Adept, but that Adept did so much in terms of denying mining time. Botvinnik was not... Look at this. Look how many SCVs he's transferring down. He's transferring 7 SCVs down to the natural. That is a lot of potential mining, a lot of potential mining efficiency that he missed out on there. Trigger, meanwhile, he's already now fully saturated on his natural. He's been mining that for quite a bit of time. Trigger's in a pretty good position, I would say.
That it is. I had a... Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, that's unfortunate there with the Marine going down. Steadfast, I'd heard that Maynard was not showing up to this event, but it appears he's showing up in this game at least, as Botvinnik does Maynard those SCVs on down to the natural, which I always think that's rather funny. Is to the best of my knowledge, Maynard, the move of mass transferring SCVs, which is a term from StarCraft 1 days, and Maynard, the caster, have absolutely nothing to do with each other. There's no correlation whatsoever, which seems really kind of an interesting, or a lack of a correlation, I guess.
Yeah, it's very funny, actually. It's a very, very funny scenario. We do see one of the Cyclones actually got picked off right there. Trigger, he's been so patient with these Oracles this time. He does manage to pick off an SCV, and he avoids that Widowmine. Breaks the lock on as well. Keeps the hull damage at 100%. Great little move right there from Trigger.
And now Blink is done. Stalker's trying to find the red. Steadfast, there is... Well, Stim is done, but there is no tank, nothing like that. So Stalker's blinking rather nicely. And Botvinnik, he's doing everything he can to not spend that blink, because, of course, that's 10% of the damage on the army, or at least 10% on top of all of the Marines. And that doesn't feel good. Actually, no, it's 20%. Never mind. Combat shields are not done. So now we're going to have Stim, because, of course, combat shield or medevacs are done, but Trigger already finding a lot of value on this perspective. What is it? 2-1, yeah, 3-1-1 push coming out of Botvinnik.
Yeah, it was the Ryung opener with the delayed starport. So those medevacs just now hitting the field, but we've got we've got Trigger doing a good job of, keeping tabs on this. He does need to get on out of here, and he will manage to do so. And behind all this, Colossus coming on in. He's in a great spot. Oh, if he could have gotten that back, that would have been so good. But a good boost away from Botvinnik. The problem is, Botvinnik wants to be aggressive on his opponent's side of the map. He does not want to be trying to keep his metabacks alive on his own side of the map. He wants to be getting over into Trigger's base and doing damage there. Ooh, concussive shells. Okay, he will get 2 stalkers.
I mean,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I mean, you take those stalkers are losing a couple stalkers is worth far more than losing a couple Marines. But the disrespect from Trigger's micro right there. He goes in, he knows his opponent has a lot of bios, got a lot of stim. He says, yeah, let me poke this a little bit. That'll be fine. I'm gonna get really close, and he does pay for it just a little bit. But Trigger seems very, very confident in this game. Now we do have to point out, of course, that the stasis traps that Trigger has been trying to bait into have timed out. Pretty much everywhere, so they're not really gonna be this game-changing idea that we're looking for. And there we go. Time's out. Well done, Steadfast. Observer Steadfast. Good job.
That was perfect timing on you. That was like, you got that like right down to the second there. Ooh, nice job from Botvinnik right there. Oh, he was trying to go for the lift. He was trying to bait the stasis ward and then go for the lift, but wasn't able to get that perfectly. There's a lot of Colossus here, though, and nothing that deals with Colossus in this army. No tanks, no Vikings. He starts up a couple Vikings. Ooh, nice job from Trigger right there. Almost actually ran in with the Oracle, so that would have been a really nasty spot. But this is looking very dangerous for Botvinnik. He's got nothing that deals with Colossus this time. This time he does get punished.
Oh, man. Trigger and Oracle, Steadfast. Name a more iconic duo.
Trigger and losing them.
Well, that was the implied statement, my friend.
I got him.
Got him.
Yeah, no, that's he has had trouble keeping them alive, but as you said, it is late. It is very late. And these players have been playing for a lot of time today. Widowmine will rearm, which means that it's going to be recloaked right here. Colossus, I don't know if you want to push up this ramp. Those force fields are a little bit redundant, but that's okay.
Those force fields are a little redundant, but that's okay.
Nice.
I do feel like, though, if you're trying to push into that third base location, you got to rotate all the way around to the right side. That's a much wider ramp. Or maybe you hope the Terran knocks the rocks down, but you know the Terran's not going to really do that all that much. And this buys Botvinnik time to get Vikings out in the field. What is he at right now? He's at 4 to 3 Colossus. You want to go up to like 9, maybe 12 if you're not confident in your Viking micro. But really, it is that 3 Viking number. And Botvinnik is rapidly building an army that Trigger is afraid of. Botvinnik's upgrades are ahead. I mean, there's no armory, so Trigger will catch up. But with Ghosts with enhanced shockwaves, Steadfast. Okay, never mind. Fourth base is on the way. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised to see Botvinnik pull the boys once he gets a decent Ghost count out. But with the 4th command center on the way, that's not actually a thing anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll pull the boys, but he does need to start up a 2nd engineering bay and an armory if he wants to keep pace with Trigger in this game. This is going to be a real problem as Trigger, he's already finished his +1 attack now. He's got +1 armor. It's only a little bit of a ways away, or a little bit of a ways along. But if it ends up, with 2-1 upgrades or even 2-2 upgrades versus 1-1, we're talking a little bit into the future. But if it ends up with that situation, that's a really, really rough setup from a position where you had an advantage. And as I say, that Botvinnik does throw down the armory and the 2nd NG bay, so he will still be able to, at the very least, keep pace with his opponent's upgrades, which is very, very important.
It is, and Trigger was actually a little bit slow on getting his +2. His +1 was done for about 30, 45 seconds, which really is an eternity in StarCraft 2. But Steadfast, I have a question for you. How are you able to tell the future when all the oracles are dead? Or talk about the future when all the oracles are dead?
Well, you need to consult our favorite North American Terran.
Ah.
That was the only way I could go through there. That was the obvious follow-up right there. I want to point out, by the way, a really nice spotter marine as on the left side, right from Botvinnik, was able to pick off 5 zealots effectively, basically for free. So a really, really nice little pick off there. There are disruptors, no liberators, but lots of ghosts with their enhanced shockwaves. This could be scary. This is a really, could be a feisty engagement if Trigger tries to push the issue.
I don't really like, I actually don't even necessarily like staying on gateway tech here. Ooh, big EMPs blanket the army. Trigger goes forward, knocks down, actually, yeah, barely gets one Viking. There's the second. I feel like in a game like this, look at the surround Botvinnik is setting up. This is a scary position for Trigger to be into, but the Zealots actually forces his opponent out of position, and now Trigger's going to try to jump on half the armor when the other army is out of position. Disruptor shots are just blowing everything up. But the backside, the Colossus, they're knocking down Disruptors defensively, though, but Botvinnik, look at that steadfast. He pulls the trigger, and in fact, he pulls the trigger into a lead, pulls it out from under Trigger. I don't know, there's a joke there, but it's late, we're tired. Trigger loses every little bit of tech in this game.
That looked so good initially for Trigger. He got some massive disruptor shots, but his army was so badly outflanked. It was so horribly surrounded that he ends up losing everything except for a handful of stalkers. Actually, did he even... Okay, I think he recalled them out. Did he? Yeah, he recalled. Okay, that was weird kind of that he recalled. I guess he thought he was being surrounded from the back. The thing is, he got enough damage done to Botvinnik's army, and he has a bit of an income lead. So he's got enough time now in order to rebuild Colossus, and he is not going to die to a counterattack, which was a very real fear. But man, that was a crazy engagement from Botvinnik. If he doesn't eat those disruptor shots, I think maybe this game is already over.
Okay, so, well, never mind. Botvinnik decides, yeah, I'm going to drop a second scan, and it gets the observer too. Steadfast, I think we need to nerf observers so they never get out of scans.
Yeah, of course. That's a great idea.
Best patch notes.
Terran will love that. Oh God, this poor Marine.
Yeah, he's dead. Man had a family. Actually, I don't think Marines, they're convicts, right? They don't really, I mean, they may have families, but...
Convicts can have families.
Yeah, broken home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to have a broken home to be a convict.
The assumption is that it's not a great family dynamic. It's just, they and maybe they were framed. Who knows?
I mean, in the grim darkness of the 41st... sorry, wrong IP. In the grim darkness of the Krupulu sector, there is only war. And, grim dank, my mommy doesn't love me ideas.
As you do. Ooh, little Marine drop on the bottom side. He's going to be able to find a little bit of damage here. Trigger mostly in position, though. Oh, does he have Blink? Not able to pick that off, but Planetary Fortress gets deleted by the DTs on the left side. Ooh, Trigger, he is going to lose. Oh, Blink. Okay, he does manage to retreat on out. Yep, and the recloak comes in, but he kills the command center. There's a replacement immediately next to it. He only kills 6 SCVs, and he loses a lot of Blink DTs. That was not really worth it.
Oh, he just lost a bunch more in the middle of the map, too, so... I mean, I guess it's kind of worth it because it's a 4-base Terran against a 6-base Protoss, but what's only worth it really is you're able to hold this base off. Disruptor shot does not really land, but there's just some big swipes there from the Colossus with 4 Colossus. Well, sorry, 2 Colossus. I can't count. Botvinnik continues to move his way on back, avoiding the disruptor shots, now moving back on in, trying to dive on top of this base. And at 50% HP, it doesn't really feel like Trigger's going to be able to hold on to this for that much longer.
Yeah, this is looking pretty scary right now. Botvinnik has a gigantic army supply. Meanwhile, he got a bunch of probes on the bottom side. He's left this Nexus alive with 8 HP. Battery overcharge was already popped. We are going to see disruptors. Oh, they managed to get taken out, and I think Botvinnik might have done it here. Disruptor does get a decent connection. Is that enough for Trigger to hold with the Zealot Warpin? I think it will be. Meanwhile, DT was actually swiping away at those units during the fight, and Trigger may actually push him back. Oh, nice little, crossover here. Cross up. Ooh, these Marines and Marauders. Disruptor shot. One of them does get canceled. Trigger has to dodge his own disruptor shot, so he has to steer it away. And now, another disruptor. Oh, nice last-second split from Botvinnik. This is looking pretty scary for Trigger, but somehow he's actually starting to make the hold here. And the landed Vikings, they are mostly going to go down. Oh, he steers a Marauder, and it goes back into the disruptor shots. That's an expensive loss. Botvinnik, though, still does have a huge army supply lead, and he's about to finish up his 3-3.
Yeah, I mean, 3-3...
Loaded medevac? Oh.
Well.
You don't want that.
So the weird thing about this, Botvinnik had I think a double drop down bottom right side, the 5th base, or the 4th base of Trigger. And he didn't really kill anything. I didn't see that much defensively there for Trigger as well, but he was kind of, I guess, killing a pylon and then eventually spent his APM elsewhere. So what could have been actually a really nice move for Botvinnik. You kill 2 bases really for the price of 1, or in 1 fell swoop. But now Trigger, he's able to keep that alive. His supply is bouncing right back up. He does not have +3 armor until right now. DTs on the left side are going to find another command center, and well, actually, the army of Botvinnik is not too far away. But DTs, first of all, they get the detection. They blink in though, and with a scan here, oh no, they blink out. So 12 workers go down. Trigger finding some value, and actually, this appears to be a trigger for Trigger to run out on the map, try to wedge his way in between the main and the naturals. The drop on the bottom right side. Botvinnik was aware of it earlier. Now he's going to come back for the prize that was promised to him. But Steadfast, it's this push in the middle that I'm afraid of for Botvinnik. That being said, I'm actually not afraid of this at all. There's 1 Colossus and just a bunch of Zealots. That is not enough to make that happen. So Trigger loses 18 workers. Botvinnik really feels like he's kind of seized this game now.
Oh, it certainly does. Scan is going to come down here from Botvinnik, and he will be able to deal with all but one of the DTs. Trigger will escape on out with this last one. This drop is still... Oh, Disruptor Trap. Meanwhile, attack on the top side. Trigger going to try and distract, I think, while he throws out some balls. And a nice hot pickup coming in from Botvinnik, but Trigger will blink forward, gets 2 of the medevacs with a lot of their payload inside. Good defensive fight. And now Trigger is actually taking a supply lead here. We had to talk about this Nexus. It survived with 8 HP. It was never finished off. That's 1 Marauder shot. That's 2 Marine shots. That is a disaster for Botvinnik, and if he loses this game, it is almost definitely because he didn't kill that Nexus.
At least that is a key component of what's going to happen if he does lose that. But for now, Trigger, understanding that it's big EMPs for the doesn't go for the EMP, but it's hard for Trigger to push in. What he wants to do right now to push into that 5th base location. Not with the high ground nearby, not with that concave that Botvinnik has. So Trigger now through the middle of the map. There are a decent amount of disruptors here, Steadfast. Stalker's now blink on forward. A Ghost actually does not go down, but good target fire to start. And now DT is joining in. Again, Trigger blows up some of his own units, and the Vikings, they're trying to do what they can with that +2. Look at this concave, but the disruptor shots, they're even better. Army on the right side, though. That looks like what's going to be Botvinnik. No, it's not absolutely whatsoever. The Vikings are doing what they can. The Colossus fall, but the rest of Botvinnik's army, it does fall down, and that buys Trigger maybe some room onto a planetary, but planetaries are hard to break with just a bunch of stalkers. So Botvinnik, he loses a fight again, but Trigger cannot break his economy.
Yes, that is the crucial takeaway here, is that if Botvinnik, well, the thing is, Trigger, he can probably just warp in another round of Blink DTs and hold his opponent's army at bay with these disruptors. Already getting 5 SCVs. Yeah, no, I would love to see him just warp in Blink DTs at this base and just send them up to that top left base. And I think he could guarantee a kill while keeping his opponent's army pinned in there. And then you fire out disruptor shots as the DTs go in. You maybe distract your opponent, maybe get some game-winning shots and just close it out from there. Oh, but it's going to be DTs on the bottom side instead. Well, this is confusing.
I mean, I guess in some ways it makes sense because Botvinnik is defending north side so heavily. But also, I mean, that base is roughly it's only 4 mineral patches remaining. There's still a bunker. There's still a missile turret. It is not nearly as soft, but it looks like the DTs, they run back home. Okay, I guess they're spreading out. I was wondering where they went, but they run back home. They say, we're not going to go for that one. But there we go.
Oh,
wait, was that a recall?
Yeah, he recalled them to the top side. Meanwhile, engagement in the middle of the map. Disruptor shot. Oh, gets a big connection right there. Another one pretty decent and will secure the retreat for Trigger. Oh, and a last one comes in from deep left field and gets a big connection. And this is the move I was looking for. DTs on the side. Disruptor. Oh, bad rally from Trigger. I thought he was waiting for that one, but he was not. You're not going to be able to deal with this. Botvinnik, 1, 2, 3 swipes, you're out.
Apparently, we're not watching StarCraft anymore. We're watching baseball, but it's fine. We like baseball, too. But here come the Zealots. Big EMPs, though, and your Trigger will be forced to reposition. Disruptors zoning the army of Botvinnik out once again. But now Botvinnik looking to move down. Oh, he is paying attention. I mean, there's not much for him to pay attention to at this point. He has 1 army, down 20 supply. He really only has 1 base that he's mining. The multitasking of Botvinnik is not exactly stressed at the moment, just considering how little of the map he does own. But now here comes Trigger once again. Mr. Gateway Man, charge lots, blink stalkers, disruptors, a couple DTs. Let's see if he can bust another base.
I think he's going to be able to. At the very least, he should be able to use these disruptors to zone his opponent out. Oh, Botvinnik going to dive in on top of it. He doesn't have enough to take it down. The base falls. The army gets absolutely smashed in the face. And Botvinnik, he now has about one chance, maybe. And he is going to have to take the fight of his life to stay alive in DreamHack Valencia.
I said fast. I don't even know that he has the one chance, the one shot, the one opportunity, something, Mom Spaghetti, because he is not really mining at this point. I mean, yeah, mules are a powerful thing, but when he only has 2 orbitals, does not really work here. Is now here comes Trigger on the march, on the attempt to move yet further into DreamHack Valencia to show some of the promise that he has just been looking better and better as of late. He knocked down Beyond 2 weeks ago. That disruptor shot is gonna be everything here. Now Botvinnik falling below 100 supply. Vikings doing just about nothing, and with a 2-0, Trigger moves on to the last knockout round.